Okay, so I've already talked about the 3.0 news on Twitch. We've already put up a couple interviews that you and I did, Andrea, at Judges Week for Disney Infinity 3.0, and we have already done one Just Played on 3.0 for Judges Week. Clearly not enough. We need to be talking about Disney Infinity 3.0 more.
Well, they dumped so much information on us, that one day, and then I got to go see another showing of the Inside Out playset. So, I mean, it has to have multiple videos.
And we can finally, the embargo recently lifted on the information for Inside Out. And although I did get a chance to see the game and to play the game a little bit at their event for Judges Week, you got to go to Pixar Lucky Dog and play Inside Out and see the movie.
I'm showing you can't see them right now, but I'm showing my Infinity figures that I have for
I can see
anger
them.
and joy.
I can see them, Andrea. I can see them, trust me. I can see your smug little face holding up your figures. I hope you're happy. So
I am.
So you checked out Inside Out and you checked out the movie. So you're in a unique perspective to talk about the movie and its relation to the playset. And just first impressions, I was surprised and kind of pleased that they took like a really a platforming angle. That they're like, we kind of want to make this like a fun Little Big Planet, romp through this character's imagination as opposed to like really recapturing a moment from the movie. It's a sequel. It follows the film. But you've had more time with it than I have. So what do you think of Inside Out, the playset?
I thought, I think it's very creative. I think it's different than a lot of the play sets that we've seen in Infinity so far. I know that the team is taking a lot of, risks, really kind of stretching gameplay, making it, much more versatile than we've seen in either the original Infinity or 2.0. And what I really love about the Inside Out playset is that the characters work so well together. It's a really great cooperative game. So each of these characters who you'll meet once you watch the film, and I do highly, highly recommend everybody go see the film. It's one of Pixar's finest movies, and it just makes the playset much more enjoyable to play once you know the background of each of these characters. They really have their own kind of play style. So, like anger, for example, can walk on lava, and sadness can walk on clouds. So there'll be different sections of the game where you're going to need to use anger's abilities or sadness's abilities. And joy has like this twinkle toes so she can float, and fear can run really fast. And I think that that's a really kind of neat attribute to put on these characters who aren't, your stereotypical superheroes. When you put, someone like Iron Man or Thor or Rocket Raccoon in a game, they already come with their built-in set of abilities. And when you get these original characters from, the Pixar library, you kind of go, well, what are they going to do that's going to stand up, next to Black Widow? Or somebody like that. And so I thought that they did a really great job, and the platforming aspect, the 2D aspect of it, is a nice change of pace from what we've seen in Infinity so far.
And it's not entirely 2D, because there were definitely seemed like some isometric sections, like some sections where you were going forward or backwards throughout the space. But yeah, it definitely seemed. There have been lots of really great platforming objects that are placed in the toy box in Disney Infinity 1.0 and 2.0 that aren't really used, I thought, in the playsets in 1.0 and 2.0. Not really playsets that you cherish a lot for their platforming. I think the maybe Pirates had a little more than Incredibles, but obviously with the Star Wars playsets that they've announced, there's lots of ranged attacks, lots of vehicles and stuff like that. So I really like that. Not only are they focusing on the Inside Out stuff for the playset to be platforming based, but then that will open up a lot of fun platforming tools that you can then use in the toy box. Did you get that vibe? Or are there any? I know they have like upside down parts where you can like jump and the gravity gets flipped, and so you're actually jumping down on the screen.
Yeah, I don't know how, that's going to work inside the toy box. I would need to see that in action. But in the playset, we've seen other platforming games that kind of, reverse gravity, and gives it that extra little challenge. The team talked about how they wanted to put an emphasis on puzzles that you have to solve together. I really love a good cooperative game that requires you to actually work with the other person that you're playing with. And I think that, they really nailed that with the Inside Out playset. And I'm just like super excited to play it. I haven't gotten to get more than, like 20 minutes of hands-on time with it. I mean, granted, even the build that I was playing at, there were certain sections where no one else had played two-player co-op in that particular build before. So it was really exciting, and it just seemed so far away, so many months away.
Yeah, it's we still have a couple months left. They actually officially haven't announced launch date, I believe, for 3.0, but it's coming. It's coming at the end of the summer. Finally, just to talk about everything else, we got all this crazy stuff coming to the Toy Box. We got Toy Box Takeover, which is a new adventure game mode. We got the Speedway, which is racing. They're bringing farming to the Toy Box, and there's Star Wars. So we got the two play sets, Twilight of the Republic, the prequel play set, and Rise Against the Empire, which we have not been able to talk about until now, which is the episode 4 through 6 play set. What do you think? Are you a Star Wars fan, Andrea? What do you think about all the Star Wars stuff?
Hey, I definitely am a Star Wars fan. I'm not a Star Wars fanatic. There are much bigger Star Wars fans out there than I am, but I've watched, episodes 4 through 6 probably 100 times. I've seen, the first one's a couple of times each. I'm really excited for episode 7, which is coming, later this year. But I think what's really awesome about what they're doing with the Rise of the Empire playset is that they're taking these really iconic moments from the movies that we all grew up watching or maybe had just recently rewatched and really kind of make them approachable to people of all ages. I got the chance to play the famous trench run from the original Star Wars. I mean, I think you and I both played that, didn't we?
No, that was the thing, was they have different planets for all these playsets, and usually the playsets before are one big giant area, and now there's multiple big areas you can go to. So yeah, the version that I played was totally different. I didn't do any ship combat stuff when I played Rise Against the Empire.
Yeah, it was really challenging. I mean,
think we did
ship
Tatooine,
combat in general is not easy, but you're in your X-Wing. So you're in your X-Wing and you're in the trench, and you're going to, make the final shot into the Death Star and blow it up. And it's just fun to be able to relive that. I know some other games have done that in the Star Wars universe, but nothing really in this, art style. And it was approachable because a lot of it was on rails, so you just had to kind of steer a little bit, which for me was a more fun experience. And I like how they are really making an emphasis on different types of combat with this playset versus Twilight of the Republic, because this one, there's much more of a focus on shooting, whereas the combat in the previous is much more focused on lightsaber combat. Do you have a preference?
Not really. I mean, I think the shooting is stuff we've done before in Infinity, so it is nice to see specifically the Force powers from all the Jedi that you can juggle people around, and you can. It's fun. It's always gratifying when somebody's on a bridge and running at you, and you just knock the person off the bridge. So I think that's fun. It hasn't been done the combat definitely seems smoother, and they mentioned that a lot of that's coming to the actual figures in the toy box as well. So even Mr. Incredible will have new combat moves because they're adding more stuff to anyone that's holding a melee weapon. I think the thing for the playsets that I really enjoyed is, the Avengers playset, there wasn't a lot of places you went to, even the Spider-Man playset, there was not a lot of nostalgia in the environment. They had, Avengers Tower, and there's a couple characters you could bump into, but other than that, it was just, New York, ice, frost giants, ad nauseum. And so I in this game, almost every quest that I was doing in Tatooine was showing me where a cool thing was that I would recognize from the movie, So it's even things oh, there's a sandcrawler, and they had to find one member of the band in the cantina and carry him back to the cantina and bring him back to the band. And so it was I felt it was a lot more, maybe it's because I'm more of a Star Wars fan than I am a Marvel fan, but I was just recognizing more of them, really making me feel like I'm a part of that world and playing with cool Star Wars toys as opposed to really being a Avengers hero in kind of a big kind of potentially dull environment. So yeah, the playsets really impressed me. Just to wrap this up, I mean, is it me, Andrea, or is there way more stuff coming to 3.0 than 2.0 by a ridiculous margin?
I think that you are absolutely right, Brandon. It seems to me that, they've just showed us, the first offering of what they want, their consumers and fans to see. But I mean, we saw this wall at the event that had all of the announced Infinity figures on it, and there was quite a few open spaces on this wall, and we were posturizing that potentially this means that a lot more characters are coming for 3.0 that just haven't been announced yet. So I'm interested to see who else they're going to pull from the Star Wars universe, who else they're going to pull from the Disney universe. Of course, I feel like now with Marvel and Star Wars on board, sometimes the Disney characters have to take a backseat, which is sad to me because I love Disney. But when you get a figure like the Yoda one that they gave us, it's exciting. Star Wars just kind of stirs that emotion inside you that's inexplicable, and it makes you want to just consume everything that's Star Wars that you can, as fast as you can. So
this is the year to do it. We got
Yeah.
two play sets. We got the extra Episode 7 play set that is going to come out later this year. We got Battlefront. We got the Old Republic is allegedly getting another expansion. So if you're a Star Wars fan, it's the year to be a Star Wars fan. And thank you for being a Disney Infinity fan, Andrea, and for chatting with me about all that stuff. And if someone steals your Inside Out figures, it wasn't me.
Okay.